死んだ。わあ、初めて俺に伝えている。
絶望の匂いだ。
面白いこと見せようか。ほら、こんなにガチンが多すぎて。
お父さん。
あかん。
ドナルド君、まだ死ぬ時じゃないでしょ。
アメリカ、万歳。ファイト。
絶対負けないよ。
ランド、トゥライドまで。
出ろ。だってまだサンキュー言ってないでしょ。一回も言ってください。
おい、仲良くしてるね。この世界、季節にいけるかな。昔グレートだった大きにまたグレートになるかな。あのさ、有名人なら誰かのマンコを掴んでいいさ。そう見張らせるで。
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into CobraCast 199. I'm your host, Jeremy Prime, Mage I dot of Unit 199. Happy to see all of you here on a Wednesday, I think. Yeah, Wednesday. Couldn't remember what day it is because every day is awesome when you're in the snake pit. So, hi, everyone. We got a lot to talk about. There's a lot of stories that are breaking right now. A lot of people are spurging out online as usual. Munchie Ninja with $20 says pre-stream tax. By the way, Andrew Wilson debated Owen Schroyer on whether Trump's administration has been successful. It was a pretty good watch. Check it out when you have a chance. I was actually talking about that last night. And I still haven't had a chance to check it out. But yeah, I did see that they did have a debate, and I heard Andrew Wilson got the better of him. But let's be clear, and this is just the internet debate culture. It really comes down to whoever you agree with typically wins the debate. That's just kind of how debates go. I'm not oblivious to that fact at all. So if you agree with Andrew Wilson, then you're going to think that Andrew Wilson won. If you agree with Schroyer, you're going to think he won. That's just how the internet works. And with that said, I think Schroyer is a complete idiot these days. So I would imagine his points are going to sound very stupid and his arguments are going to sound very stupid. But that's generally internet debate culture. It's like, oh, I disagree, or I agree with you, therefore you won. You know, that's just how it is. But I will check it out. Let me see. Correct. If you're retarded, you think 0-1. There you go. Exactly, Josiah. Exactly. Marmillan for $20 says pre-stream chat grift tax doubling since I was playing NTE and missed last night. That's okay, brother. We had a good stream last night. Yeah, I mean, I think we got like an hour and a half, and that was after a 5-hour main event. So let's freaking go. Hail to you, Marmillan. Jeremy, you missed a live Trump meme. What are you talking about? What do you mean? Ryan Miller says the meltdowns over the Supreme Court ruling over Voting Rights Act have been legendary and the tears are flowing. The Democrats, the media, and the left are coping so hard. You love to see it. You do love to see it. Let's see. Chief Boxing Boa says, I was playing Fortnite, caught back up. That sounds like a fun night. I need to get back on Fortnite. I do. That's why debates are pointless. Yeah, I mean, look, it is what it is. So, welcome to the internet. I'll be your guide. Packy Proton says, we have a new enemy, Trump B. Walker. He could destroy us. Trump B. Walker. Stormbreaker says, all hail Cobra Commander Jeremy and King Trump. There's only one true king in the world, King Trump. You damn right. Stormbreakers is Savannah meetup. Will there be girls and beers? The girls will be there. I don't know about beer. I mean, if they have alcohol there, I don't drink and I don't ever bring alcohol with me, but will they have beer there? Potentially. I can't say yes or no. However, if you hit the link in the pinned post, you can RSVP to our Savannah meetup. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I hope to see many of you out there. 9 Line, Savannah, Georgia. It's going to be awesome. So hope you guys will make it out there. Okay, so one of the big stories that's going on today, Erica Kirk has uploaded a video, and it's getting the exact response you would expect. And I have to preface every single time to say, not really a fan of Erica Kirk, but I also don't hate her. But she uploaded a video today, 9-minute video. And boy, oh boy, man, the reactions to Erica Kirk are just insane, man. Like, the hatred for this woman is next level. It's absolutely nuts. And it just shows you how many people Candace Owens has poisoned. But again, I don't even blame Candace Owens for it. There's just a lot of stupid people in the world. So let's check this out right here. Erica Kirk talking about the state of the country and what happened at the correspondence dinner and everything else.
Seems to me that nothing will ever be enough for the evil in this world. Our country has become unrecognizable. These people have perverted the truth to the point that they motivated the murder of my husband. They've continuously tried to assassinate the president, and anyone who stands in their way is labeled hateful, racist, fascist, and every other trigger word that is grossly dishonest.
She's going full Sarah Connor. She does kind of have a Sarah Connor look to her.
We want the best for our country. They don't. This is why Charlie started Turning Point USA in the first place. He didn't trust the radicalized liberal teachers. And this past Saturday, it was a school teacher, of all people, a school teacher that attempted to change our history for the worst with bullets. And everyone is asking why I even went to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And it was because many of the journalists in that room have attempted to dehumanize me. And I wanted to meet some of them face to face, quite frankly. Why have a conversation?
I mean, that is a good response as to why you would want to be there, because of these journalists and how they have treated you. That is a fair response for sure. 100%.
About me when you can have a conversation with me. So, for example, a journalist from the Daily Mail came up to me. She introduced herself and she was very gracious. She was saying, "You look so beautiful. I'm so sorry for your loss." To which I replied, "It is so nice to put a name to the face, especially with all of the slander, the lies, accusations that are out there surrounding my husband's murder and myself." And I said to her, "You know what's so interesting? This is my first time at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And I find it so fascinating, the dynamic that is going on right now, because everyone is all dressed up and you guys are co-mingling in and out of each other's cocktail parties. And so for one night, you are able to put aside all of your differences for the sake of freedom of speech. And then by Monday morning, things will go back to being an absolute bloodbath between all of you." To which she replied, literally, she said, "I know. Isn't it special, right? Isn't tonight so special?" And following that conversation, it was time to take our seats and we went into the big ballroom where the dinner was. And one of the first things I noticed when I walked into that room was quite literally the proximity of the opposing outlets to one another. So you have one table here that's Politico and another table.
See, I'm actually glad she's approaching it from this perspective, because this right here, this is definitely how you connect with people, by exposing the powerful elites and how they operate. So this is a very good approach to begin the video, in my opinion. Now, I do have some critiques for her as we get further into the video, but this is a good approach right here.
Here that's Fox and another table here that's WAPO, and you're all crammed together, elbow to elbow. And to make the night even more of a spectacle, every single 10-person table had 10 bottles of wine. And the president of the White House Correspondents Association, she did a great job of trying to make the evening have that feeling of Americana. You know, we were in a room celebrating freedom of speech despite our differences. And the U.S. Marine Band performed the national anthem so beautifully. And then shortly thereafter, gunshots rang out and total chaos ensued. And you guys have all seen what happened next because there are 1,000 videos of it. So let's discuss that fact for a second. If you were in that room, you had no way of knowing what the status of the shooter was, how many there were, or honestly, really anything. It was just utter chaos. And so during an active shooting, these journalists are using their phones to find moments to capture for clips. They were so concerned about getting a video in a room with an active shooter that they could have accidentally and quite literally filmed themselves being shot.
That's the state right there. That's the current state. 100%. This is who they are, man. They are soulless, evil people. They are horrible, horrible people. Yep.
That they could have accidentally and quite literally filmed themselves being shot. Many of those people have become so desensitized that fight or flight became secondary to the opportunity of putting themselves into the story, which ironically breaks the #1 rule of journalism. And again, ironically enough, the shooter was a teacher. You have these people who are supposed to be teaching our children the future of this country, and he's so unhinged that he is able to teach children by day and then attempt to murder the president of the United States by night. And in his manifesto, he starts by contextualizing himself by saying, "I am a citizen of the United States of America." And while we may have big problems with illegal immigration in this country, I have to tell you, we have an even bigger problem when it comes to the systemic indoctrination and radicalization of our own citizens. This is what got my husband killed. This is what has led to 3 legitimate attempts on President Trump's life. And I can speak firsthand to that unbearable toll that this must take on our First Lady. There has never been a president who has faced this many assassination attempts in Americans' entire history. And after each one, the reaction from the far left has been, at best, a shrug, and in some cases, a sick disappointment that the shooter was unsuccessful. We are all human beings. And if you can just pause and just take a minute and ask yourself, how would you feel if even just one person made cruel jokes about the attempted murder of your loved one? That is what Jimmy Kimmel did to the First Lady.
Ooh,
He
cooking
said
Jimmy
that she
Kimmel.
had the glow of an expected widow.
That is what he said.
The glow of an expected widow. Just 48 hours before that nightmare almost became a reality. And this culture we're living in absorbs disagreement as a form of personal betrayal.
Now, she actually gets into some of the stuff that she's been dealing with. And the way she handles Candace in particular, I think is a calculated misstep on her part. We're going to talk about that as we get into this. So let's listen even in a little more.
It turns having an opposing viewpoint into a moral crime worthy of punishment. And here's what I've realized through all of this, truly, having lived through quite literal hell these past 7 months, if you strip someone of their humanity long enough, you will arrive at the chilling conclusion that they don't deserve to exist at all.
That's true.
Every morning I wake up to a new headline lying about me. I have comedians dressing up in whiteface. I have people saying I'm not fit to be CEO. And I have Candace Owens claiming I murdered my husband.
Now, I know a lot of people are going to be happy she said that. I'm telling you right now, that is a tactical mistake. right there. It's a tactical mistake. Let's back it up. Let's back it up.
Dressing up in whiteface. I have people saying I'm not fit to be CEO. And I have Candace Owens claiming I murdered my husband. And the list goes on and on and on.
Now, to my knowledge, and you have to understand, you're playing the game that your enemy wants you to play. To my knowledge, Candace Owens has not directly said those words. Okay? And that's how Candace will use it. You have to play her game better than she's playing her game. And Candace is very smart in how she uses her words. So you have to do what a famous philosopher did years ago. Famous philosopher named B. Rabbit. Some of you may know who B. Rabbit is. Maybe you are aware of B. Rabbit. But B. Rabbit was in a battle with Papa Doc. Okay? And B. Rabbit took all of Papa Doc's insults and ammunition away from him. Then when it was Papa Doc's turn, Papa Doc had nothing. Okay? This is a 8 Mile reference. The point being, if you're going to address Candace, you should have used her exact words and her exact language while also dismantling her language by saying, and you have Candace Owens playing a very cute game of heavily implying that I had something to do with the assassination of my husband, while never actually saying those words because she doesn't want to be held accountable. You have to dismantle her argument completely, because now Candace is just going to clip you saying point blank what you claim she said, and she is going to use that to her advantage. And that's the problem with that statement. She's not wrong in the fact that Candace is a liar and a horrible person, but it's the words she's using. Candace is going to take those words and she's going to spin them and manipulate them to her advantage. And she's going to be able to make it look good. What you want to do is you want to use words that she doesn't want to play. That's what you want to do. You want to say things that Candace doesn't want to play live. So you want to force Candace to then allude to what you say, not play exactly what you say. She's going to be able to play this right here, and she's going to be able to deny this direct accusation. And that's my issue with it. I'm not mad at Erica for saying it. I just think it's a tactical mistake.
That they don't deserve to exist at all. Every morning I wake up to a new headline lying about me. I have comedians dressing up in whiteface. I have people saying I'm not fit to be CEO. And I have Candace Owens claiming I murdered my husband. And the list goes on and on and on. There is a serious epidemic of dehumanization plaguing this country. The most unthinkable tragedies have now become commonplace in our daily headlines, and yet the media finds a way to conveniently explain away violence. This is what we're up against. This is what we're up against. What is happening right now is something none of us can afford to ignore. The evil forces.
100%. Somebody said it. Erica should just say Candace has always been jealous of me. Listen, if you're going to bring her up. Like, seriously, crush her, Erica. Say, and then you have Candace Owens, who is incredibly jealous that I married Charlie Kirk. She's very jealous that I got Charlie and she didn't. And she's a woman scorned right now, and she's willing to say anything she can to discredit me because I am who she wants to be. That is how you say it. Because Candace would never play that clip. She would never play that shit.
Working to divide us, to distract us, and to pull us apart has never been stronger. This is a moment for Americans to come together and decide what kind of country we are going to be before we lose our country altogether. In Romans chapter 12, verse 21, it says, "Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good." And this is why my husband created Turning Point USA, so we could have civil discourse and debate and open dialogue, because when we stop talking to each other, bad things happen. I am choosing to fight for America, for my children, for your children, and for our humanity, because we all need to do our part. And by the grace of God, we will succeed, and America will remain what she was always called to be, a shining city on a hill, a light to the world. So let me give you a perfect example of how it's done. My husband did it best and left us the blueprint on how to have uncomfortable conversations with those who disagree. Buckle up, everybody. Here we go.
Man, it's kind of crazy seeing Charlie there at the end. So overall, I still do not know how I feel about Erica Kirk. I have no idea. I don't know if I trust Erica Kirk or not. I really just cannot figure it out. I can't figure out if she is a complete fraud or if she is just a person that has ended up in a completely horrible situation and she's doing the best she can. I just don't know. And if I wish I did have a clearer direction on which way to go with her, but I just don't. It's very difficult to figure out. It's 50-50 for me. And I would not be surprised if she turns out to be the most genuine person, but I would also not be surprised if she turns out to be a complete fraud. It's really tough. It's really tough. But with that said, gun to my head, I'm taking Erica Kirk over Candace Owens any day of the week. Because that if that's the choice, I'm taking Erica over Candace easily. Dermy Wormy says that you are my detox from bad Jer. The views are good, but the mental strain is insane. Dermy Wormy's doing a great job with the quartering drama videos. I love watching the quartering drama stuff. It's really good. It's really good content. It's a lot of fun. And it's I don't know why it's so good, but it's just so good. And I can't stop watching it, but I don't want to be the person covering it constantly. But Dermy Wormy's doing awesome work over there. Rolling the Ratchet for 20 says the girls will be beards at gayest meetup in Georgia until the next meetup. Can't wait for Vegas and seeing you again, Jeremy. No junk grabbing this time. Once is kind of weird. 4 times is really gay. Love you, Fig. Thank you, Roland. Savannah meetup is going to be awesome. Can't wait. And then we got Vegas. And I saw that Skywalker says, Vegas, Jeremy, any meetup news? That is all on Gary. I have no control over that one. So I don't have any update. Whenever Gary decides to update it, that's pretty much it. So I have nothing for you. Keena says, did you watch the show? Is it Cooper or Copper? I don't know what it is. That's not ringing a bell. Hunter says, why are we here? Christ is king. Retard tracking system says, hey, Jeremy, can I get a birthday shout out? No, not for $2 you can't get a fucking birthday shout out. Do you know who the fuck I am? One of the top super chatted channels in the entire country. You're going to walk in here and ask for a fucking birthday shout out with $2? Who the fuck do you think I am? Like, what do you think this is? Happy birthday, retard tracking system. How am I supposed to wish retard tracking system a happy birthday? I don't even know how to do this. Happy birthday, retard tracking system. Happy birthday, retard tracking system. Hunter says, we are Charlie Kirk. Thank you, Hunter. McCock says, update from yesterday. I ended up doing 39 hours straight. Holy crap, brother. Well, at least you're alive. Okay. So that's good. At least you're alive. Old Salty Dog says Erica, Kirk, and Candace Owens should settle this in the ring. Jello Wrestling. I said what I said. Hail the 199. I don't disagree with that. I don't. Like, you know how the quartering is unified everybody on the internet? Erica, Kirk, and Candace Owens would unify everyone on the internet as well. Okay? It just would. So it's for the greater good. Okay? This is all I'm saying. It's for the greater good, ladies. Just do it. Okay? Unify the internet. You're going to have to do this. The responsibility is on YouTube. Okay. GB Baylor says, to answer your question, at the end of the Trump Artemis 2 crew, or is it Artemis 11 crew Oval Office meeting, he admonished Jared Isaacman and said he had great ears. Lol. Oh, really? I didn't see that. So the Artemis 11 launch, right? So no, I know the Artemis crew was there with President Trump. I didn't get to see it though. Dark Devil says Candace is very evil how she uses her words. She's very evil and very smart. Packing protons for 50 says for Ladybug, Lady Aaron D, Jessica, and Makara, and the work they do. Did you just send a $50 super chat just to compliment all the female mods? Did you just do that? Like, what the fuck are we doing here? 11% female audience. Hail to you, Packing Protons. Appreciate it. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He enjoys it. Packing Protons says, I think Erica believed the religious side of things, but kept that side up for Charlie. That's the vibe I get. And then says, for the work Eric K does. Oh, so Eric K got a $2 one. Eric K got a $2 one. And the ladies got a $50 one. There you go. And Cam Man got nothing. Marc-Andre Roy got nothing. I respect that. Southeastern Kaiju says, I question anyone who questions Erica. Darth Gavel says, seeing post from the South Georgia WET, it's all jumbled up, and have burned to the ground. The door is now open for data center land grabs. Thank you, Darth Gavel. Appreciate it. And then Packet Proton says, simpleton mode. Listen, if I'm getting $50 super chats, you can simp for whoever the fuck you want. You're not going to upset me, okay? Not even going to upset me at all. Next up, let me see here. Next up, we got to talk about James Comey has been indicted, ladies and gentlemen. Comey indicted again for allegedly threatening Trump's life. Here we go.
Former FBI Director James Comey indicted again by President Trump's DOJ, accused of threatening the president's life after posting 8647 on Instagram written in seashells.
The first count is that on or about May 15th of last year, he knowingly and willfully making a threat to take the life of and to inflict bodily harm upon the President of the United States. Count 2, James Comey knowingly and willfully transmitting in interstate commerce a communication that contained a threat to kill the President of the United States.
Former DOJ Chief of Staff Chad Mizell joins me now. Chad, the DOJ added that this indictment comes after months of gathering evidence to prove their case. So what does the DOJ need to show in terms of evidence beyond this one picture to establish their case?
First off, thanks so much for having me. What DOJ is going to be able to prove here, what they presented to the grand jury, is evidence not only that this image was transmitted, but that James Comey knew exactly what he was doing, right? This whole facade about, I didn't understand this, even though he was an AUSA, a U.S. attorney, the deputy attorney general, and the head of FBI. He spent essentially an entire lifetime at the Department of Justice, yet claiming that he somehow didn't realize that transmitting 8647 was going to be perceived as a threat by the president of the United States. So I suspect the evidence they have is showing that James Comey knew exactly what he was doing.
Here's James Comey's response, defiant response, I should add. Listen.
Well, they're back. This time about a picture of
God, I can't stand this clown, man. I really can't stand this clown.
seashells on a North Carolina beach a year ago. And this won't be the end of it. I'm still innocent. I'm still not afraid. And I still believe in the independent federal judiciary. So let's go. This is not how the Department of Justice is supposed to be. And the good news is we get closer every day to restoring those values.
So it's interesting how you didn't have a problem with that, all of this when Trump was being indicted all over the country, all because he was running for president. In fact, you advocated for Trump to be locked up through all of that.
Chad, his attorney has flagged that their defense is going to be the First Amendment. That is expected. But I'm going to build upon something you said in your initial answer. I actually want to go a step further. Isn't the director of the FBI held to a higher standard when the mere legal import of his words is something that I, as an ordinary citizen, have to follow, different than if, Carly says something to me? That doesn't have a legal import necessarily, like when you're the director of the FBI. Your thoughts?
I think that's exactly right. Look, I find it rich that James Comey, whose career is marked by a decision to not prosecute Hillary Clinton for political reasons, is now complaining that the Department of Justice is making a prosecutorial decision for political reasons. Look, he didn't get an iPod from Oprah. He didn't get a sucker from a bank. People don't hand these things out for free. A group of Americans found that it is more likely and probable cause that he, in fact, violated the law. And if I'm James,
I see you over there, Pre-Don Corp, supporting on Kick. You guys know how many people we have watching on Kick? Don't be jealous. We have 9 people watching on Kick. Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous. Okay? Not everybody can get to my level. 9 viewers on Kick right now. Let's fucking go. But thank you, Pre-Don Corps, for supporting over there. But I am always going to be live on Rumble and Kick, especially with everything going on with YouTube right now, because I don't know what the hell's happening with the monetization system right now. So we're live on Kick and Rumble along with YouTube.
Comey, to be honest, I'm furious. I'm furious that these seashells were in North Carolina and not Virginia or Maryland, because I think he's going to find a far less accommodating judge and jury in North Carolina than what he got last time in Northern Virginia.
What even is that, Kick? So Kick is another streaming platform, much like Twitch as far as the layout goes, but it's a lot better platform for, like here, this is my stream right here. So that's me on Kick right now. So there you see the Kick chat, the leaderboard with all the gifted memberships. Damn, where's our boy Warren Smith? I haven't seen Warren Smith in forever. Where is Warren these days? Dougie B still up there with all those gifties. But yeah, we haven't seen Warren. So have we seen Warren lately, Eric? Haven't seen him forever. But anyway, Kick is there's no issues with speech and all of that like there is on Twitch. In terms of the layout, it's like Twitch, but they don't have the clamp down on rules and shit like that. So should we watch you on all platforms? Yes, absolutely. I would encourage people to watch me on all platforms, but whichever one you prefer. That's all that matters. But I'm just letting everybody know that we are on Kick as well.
Such a crucial point there. Before we let you go, want to get your thoughts on this. DOJ charging Dr. Fauci's top former advisor for allegedly destroying and concealing records during the probes into the origin of COVID-19. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche saying following allegations represent a profound abuse of trust at a time when the American people needed it most. As alleged in the indictment, Dr. Morens and his co-conspirators deliberately concealed information and falsified records in an effort to suppress alternative theories regarding COVID-19. Chad, is Dr. Fauci next?
Ooh, now we're talking. Now we're talking. Is Dr. Fauci.
Chad, is Dr. Fauci next?
I hope so. But let's be clear about what we're facing. Warrens isn't being indicted for making decisions that led to the death of millions of Americans, right? That's what Fauci did. Warrens is being indicted for destroying documents, hiding evidence, and receiving government kickbacks. In fact, I actually think that these two cases are related. Warrens is being indicted for exactly what Hillary Clinton should have been indicted for, but wasn't because of the actions of James Comey. So what I see is a return to accountability and justice and away from the deep state Comey era that used to reign rampant at the Department of Justice. It's a new era with Todd Blanche, Kash Patel, and I'm really excited to see what is in store.
The deadline to charge Fauci would be May 11th, and what an interesting legal test of the prophylactic pardon power this would be. Chad,
So President Trump was asked today, right here. President Trump just went hard against now federally indicted James Comey, who threatened his life. Here's President Trump.
Well, if anybody knows anything about crime, they know 86. You know what 86? It's a mob term for kill 'em. You know, you ever see the movies? 86 'em. The mobster says to one of his wonderful associates, 86 'em. That means kill 'em. It's, I think of it as a mob term. I don't know, people think of it as something having to do with disappearing, but the mob uses that term to say when they want to kill somebody, they say 86.
I love how much he's emphasizing this. By the way, like, while he's not wrong, all right, this is also a term that's used in restaurants. It's used in business. It's used in a lot of different places. So, but I love how Trump is using this.
Mob term. I don't know, people think of it as something having to do with disappearing, but the mob uses that term to say when they want to kill somebody, they say 86, the son of a gun. I'm trying to keep the language nice and clear. They don't use that term, son of a gun. They use another term. But that's a mob term for kill 'em. Yeah.
But do you really think your life was in danger?
Probably. I don't know. You know, based on what I'm seeing out there, yeah, the people like Comey have created tremendous danger, I think, for politicians and others. Kirk Comey is a dirty cop. He's a very dirty cop. He cheated on the elections. He tried to help Hillary Clinton, as you know. He dismissed a lot of things that he should have proceeded with. I wasn't involved, but he should have proceeded with. No, he's a dirty cop. He's a crooked man. Yeah.
So there you have it right there. So President Trump, I love how he approached the whole thing. It was absolutely fantastic. Nosy Ninja on Rumble says, honest question, but why do you care what is allowed on other platforms if you always restrict yourself to what is allowed on YouTube? Well, I don't know exactly what you're asking me in reference. Is that like Twitch or maybe something like that? Like with Twitch, the reason I don't want to be on Twitch is because I don't think that I would last very long on Twitch, because Twitch's terms of service is absolutely horrible. It's a terrible, terrible platform. We've been on Twitch before, but I've seen so many people get hit on that platform, and I've seen the left-wing bias on that platform. YouTube is a platform that has its own problems as well, but I have seen people like Mark Dice and Benny Johnson, and the list goes on and on of right-wing voices that have been very successful on this platform. I don't think they would ever be successful on Twitch. I think Twitch would have taken them down quickly. So that's why I prefer Kick, because I've seen what people can say on Kick and do on Kick, and there's really no banning over there outside of extreme circumstances. Rumble is obviously great too, but as long as YouTube is the industry standard, that's the one that I'm going to try to abide by their rule set, because most people watch here, the most people support here, and so this is our number one platform. So, but you have to be aware of what other platforms. Noisy, not nosy. Oh, Noisy. My bad. Noisy Ninja. I can only imagine what that's in reference to, by the way. But yeah, either way, that's why. Just, you have to know the lay of the land on all platforms. You just do. So, let's see. Is it? I don't even know what your fucking name is here. Is it Tamaresto? Says we have to say goodbye to our 13-and-a-half-year-old chocolate lab, our sweet boy Charlie, yesterday. His cancer has progressed and he had trouble walking with his arthritis. R.I.P. Charlie Bear. Hail the 199. So sorry to hear that. You've heard me reference this many times, but it's ultimately that's a family member, and sometimes they're even better than most family members in a lot of ways. That is truly it. So yeah, I really send nothing but love and prayers to you and your family, and rest in peace to Charlie Bear. Dogs are the best, and they're actually better than most humans, to be fair. So prayers up for you, brother. We don't deserve dogs. We really don't. We really don't. Phil says, I'm sending this just to call you gay. Also, I'm currently at the Gulf for the rest of the week. Hey, man, have fun. Beautiful. It's beautiful here, man. That's why I'm never going to leave Florida, man. Never going to leave it. Although I will say, spending a lot of time in Orlando, I still prefer the panhandle of Florida over Central Florida. It's just a different world. Orlando, there's so many fucking people in Orlando because obviously, I don't know if people know this. Orlando is the #1 tourist destination in the country because of Disney and Universal. There's just so many fucking people that travel to Orlando. It's crazy, dude. But yeah, I love the panhandle of Florida, Pensacola, Panama City, Destin, Orange Beach, Gulf Shores. It's also beautiful, great restaurants, great seafood. It's awesome. Florida has 4 distinct sections. It really does. It really does. And it does. The panhandle is just a different world than Orlando. Orlando feels like a different world. Miami feels like a different world than Orlando. You've got Jacksonville and Daytona that feels like a different world than all of them. So yeah, Florida is vastly different in so many different places. Panhandle is more southern too, D-Day Cobra. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Lapco says, have you ever crapped yourself at Walmart? What's your most embarrassing moment, Jared? Please share for no reason. The internet is always a kind place. Is this a quartering reference? I'm thinking this is probably a quartering reference. I don't know why. Here's my response to that. Under no circumstances will I ever go to a public restroom and use the number 2. Won't happen. I don't care. It's not happening. I refuse to be in that situation. All right. It's not happening. Maybe when I'm like 80 and I can't control it, but I just refuse to use public restrooms. Won't do it, dude. There's a million reasons why, but I cannot do it. Glenn Jones says, for Mark, Camman, and Eric, look at there. A little bit of love for the gay mods of the 199. Look at that. That's really nice. Appreciate that. Glenn Jones says, for Jess McCara, Ladybug, because I'm kind of scared of Ladybug. Damn, look at there. All right. Thank you, Glenn Jones. Appreciate that. Magnum Norris's disclaimer for Jeremy: grifting is his business and business is good. Thank you, Magnum Norris. You're always a big time supporter. I appreciate you as always. Packy Proton says, for Camman and Mark, split the $2 and tax. That's nice. Skywalker says, bring your forklift certification to Vegas. Women dig them. Ladies love the forklift certification. No doubt about it. All right. Next up on the agenda, we have, guess who showed up on The View, ladies and gentlemen? If you can believe it, Alina Habba was on The View. That's right. Alina Habba was on The View? What?
course.
Well, during Hot Topics earlier today, we discussed the most recent federal indictment of former FBI Director James Comey related to an Instagram post of seashells, an Instagram post that he deleted the very next day and apologized for. Do you think Comey's post rises to the level of a criminal threat against the life of the president and supports an indictment?
I do. I'll explain why. After Comey's post, and this is
She is hot, like smoking.
where I go back to Saturday's events. The responsibility of certain individuals like us. We all have a very big voice. He is a former FBI director. He knows what 8647 meant. There's no question about it. He actually went on TV
What
later.
do you think 86 means?
To kill the president, to get rid of the president. That's what it
Wait,
means.
wait,
By the
wait.
way, his words, not mine. If you look at his late night show.
But the dictionary disagrees with you on that.
Well,
But
he's
also
the
they use
FBI
it,
director.
they use
He knows
it, they
better.
use it in restaurants. Do they mean to kill any
You
of the
don't think
meat?
it
What
might
are they
meant
killing?
remove him?
Wait,
Let me just tell you what happened after James Comey's post. A gentleman posted that about me. He posted on Twitter, 86 Habba, and he was also charged. He was charged in Florida, and he was held accountable because you cannot do it. Now, this is an FBI director. We have responsibilities. You guys have responsibilities not to call the president certain things or say things that could incite violence. I most certainly think after Saturday, I have a completely new perspective on how important our voices are and how we use them.
Can I mention one thing, that Matt Gaetz also used that 86 many times and nothing happened to him?
Well, I think we look at everything. I'll be honest with you. Absolutely everything is in context. I don't think anybody is immune to it. I don't think we should be sitting here and nobody has condemned.
It is interesting because I think that there's a tweet from Jack Posobiec where it says 8646. I think that Jack Posobiec tweeted that out, which is pretty so it is a slippery slope. And it has to be noted that that is a very slippery slope that we're creating right there.
Jimmy Kimmel for his comments. Those were despicable.
Joy pointed out earlier, and the president also posted death to Democrats. Do you think the president should be held responsible for that?
When you, all due respect. I haven't seen that post. I will tell you what I did.
It does exist.
Okay. What I can tell you is this. And who was the attorney general and the DOJ at that point?
Probably Pam Bondi, no?
No. Here's how I feel about this. Here's directly how I feel about this. Nobody should be inciting violence, period. That's my perspective.
Including the president.
But you have to remember something. The Department of Justice brings real cases. We are not Jack Smith. We are not Letitia James. We bring real cases against people.
No, I know. I actually had the pleasure of serving as a former federal prosecutor at the Department of Justice. But let me ask you this. I do believe that this is a vindictive prosecution against Comey, directed by the president. And so far with little success, because he's done this many times. As Trump's personal attorney, you actually were sanctioned nearly $1 million for filing a frivolous civil lawsuit against Comey, against Hillary Clinton and others.
I personally have no idea why anyone that is connected to Trump as Alina Habba would go on this show. I really don't know why. This is they're going, that they had all of these people. And they're like, gather all the information that we can so we can destroy her and embarrass her and go viral. That's exactly what they want to do, because Alina Habba, it has a couple of really big things that are going against her. All right. She's a very, very attractive woman. She's extremely well spoken. She's very educated. And her being so dedicated to President Trump, that's a bad narrative. So they want to discredit her in every way possible. So what is the actual point of going on this show? I don't know.
Against Comey, directed by the president. And so far with little success, because he's done this many times. As Trump's personal...
Man, here we go. Here we go. All right. Bro, there's an easier way to admit this. There's an easier way.
I am not gay. I have relationships with women, sex with men.
And I got news for you. That means you're gay.
Attorney, you actually were sanctioned nearly $1 million for filing a frivolous civil lawsuit against Comey, against Hillary Clinton and others that a federal judge called political grievances masquerading as legal claims. So why should anyone believe this pattern of targeting Trump's enemies is about justice and not revenge?
If you think that the Russian collusion hoax, if you think that the things that we've now seen evidence of in this Department of Justice aren't real, I just tell you to sit tight because things are coming. Because what they did was weaponized. I don't want to hear about weaponization because the reason you all know who I am is because of weaponization. I sat through targeting, people saying we're going to get Trump. And then a Hillary Clinton appointed judge sanctioned me for suing Hillary Clinton. By the way, I'm proud of that. Well, I'm proud of what I did.
Actually,
because it was the right thing to do.
Let me get Alyssa in here. Let me get Alyssa. Let me get no.
None of these people are interested in hearing a word of what Alina Habba has to say. They don't care about anything she says. This is all about discrediting her because she is loyal to President Trump.
I just have to correct something, though, Whoopi. It was actually Bill Clinton, but that appointed that judge, but also a three-judge panel, consisting of a Bush appointee, a Trump appointee, and a Biden appointee actually agreed with that court's decision. And in a 36-page opinion.
Which one was it again?
And basically,
I do want to move on because
do your thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just they just want to make her look bad. That was their entire goal. I'm not sure they did make her look bad, but that's all they were attempting to do. Magnum North says James comb the evidence. Darth Manic says, oh, it's a compliment. Thank you, Magnum Norris. Darth Manic says, I'm starting the stream 30 minutes late and behind. Can we restart so I can watch and super chat live? K, thanks, cutie. We're just going to end the stream. I can't deal with this shit anymore. So like, there's just no point. Like, I'm just going to end the stream. So you guys have a good evening. I really do appreciate it. And I'll talk to all of you later. Have a good day, everyone. So bye. All right, we're back. So thank you, Darth Manic. Marmillan says, unpopular opinion. Don't care that both Jimmy and Comey said or did these things. It is indirect, yes, and they know what they're doing, but I don't clutch pearls on words. Ultimately, like, my stance on this, and I tend to agree with you, Marmillan, like, ultimately, this James Comey thing, I think Comey is a horrible person. I think he's a terrible person, and I have no sympathy for him being indicted at all. I have zero sympathy for him. But if you're going to ask me if I'm truly offended over what he did, not really. But I understand that making an example of a former FBI director is 100% valid. But I'm not that upset about what he did. It doesn't really bother me that much. What bothers me is that I know that if it was done by any other FBI director over a Democrat president, that person would have been locked up immediately, and they would have never been able to do anything for the rest of their lives, and their family would be destroyed, everything. And that is the true problem. And this is how there's always more details and more nuance to everything that goes on. I believe that if we're going to battle these evil people, I don't believe in stooping to their level all the time. But I think that you're going to have to occasionally get your toes dirty. If you're going to want to battle these evil people, you're going to have to play by their rules occasionally. You just are. And being the bigger person and being the better person, that is not always going to win. It's just not. You have to be strategic. You can't always be in the mud with these people. But at the same time, this is why Trump is always successful, because Trump lives in the mud. Trump lives in the mud. So they're not going to bother him because he lives there. He's like, hey, you can't hurt me. I'm already here. And so it's a very, it's an interesting dynamic. But yes, I don't have any sympathy for James Comey. I also am not offended over what he said. But I'm not, it's the end of Batman Begins. All right. And the line with, Ra's al Ghul and all of that, I don't have to save you. Not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you. Simple as that. Draken says, hail Jeremy. Stephen A. Smith has a poll that backfired on X. Might want to check it out before he deletes it. Okay, let's look that one up. Stephen A. Smith. Let's see here. Well, I voted on it. Is this the one you're talking about? Whose rhetoric has contributed most of the current climate of political violence in America? Democrats are winning. Media second. Of course, Trump is going to be up there. But right now, yeah, right now, Democrats and the media are in a landslide. That's freaking hilarious right there. So I voted the media. Media and Democrats are one and the same, really, though. But that's pretty damn funny. Boom. Jeremy, it's the president, different rules. Are you talking about the 86-47 deal? Well, I mean, if that's the case, then is Jack Posobiec going to be indicted for saying it about Biden? If that's what you're referencing, I'm just asking if that's what you're referencing, because if that's in fact what you're referencing, then that would mean that Jack Posobiec has to be indicted for saying the same thing about Biden. So what are the actual rules? That's really what this comes down to. That's pretty funny. Stephen A. Yeah, he'll probably be deleting that one pretty soon. Packy Proton says, what part of Florida feels like South Jersey, Trump territory, and lacks alligators and snakes? Well, there's not a ton of alligators in the Panhandle. Not really. There's not a ton in the Panhandle area. Snakes, there's some, but it's not a ton. But I'd probably say the Panhandle probably. Sean Awesome says, poop at home crew. You're damn right. Steel Leg of History says, they knew the mob used it, so please, damn hags. Jimbo199 says, hail Jeremy, my go-to channel when I'm slacking at work. That's what's up, man. Do we have a ton of Culvers? Where's that? In Florida? Yes, there seems to be a lot. At least I haven't spent much time in South Florida, so I don't know if there's any in South Florida. But yes, there's Culvers in the Panhandle. There's Culvers in Central Florida. I don't know if they're in like Jacksonville and all of that. Lean back, have a snack says he also, perjured himself on the FISA applications. Nader's channel says you highlighted the view is probably giving them more views than actual network audiences currently watching. Maybe. But Jack, son of Jack, says, using my freebie just to say thanks for the streams and you're awesome, but still a fake. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. This is pretty funny watching Steven. Will he delete this? Will he address this? I don't know. The Everglades. Good old Everglades. By the way, I got to give a big shout out to Eric July. My buddy Ripa made a huge announcement today for the Ripaverse. Holy crap. Not going to listen to all of it, but I just want to let you hear a few minutes of this. This is crazy.
Today, I can finally share something that has been months in the making. This is probably the biggest announcement in the history of Ripaverse Publishing. So I'm going to take my time because you deserve the full picture. Ripaverse Publishing has signed a sales and distribution agreement with Hachette Book Group. We are joining their third-party publisher slate effective July 6, 2026, this year. For those who do not know, Hachette Book Group is one of the largest general interest book publishers in the United States. They are part of Hachette Livre, and that's the third largest trade and educational publisher in the world. They handle sales and distribution for some of the most respected in the business. Abrams, Chronicle Books, Yen Press, Lonely Planet, and now Ripaverse Publishing joins that roster. Under this agreement, Hachette will handle all of our retail and wholesale sales and distribution worldwide. Bookstores, big box retailers, libraries, and wholesalers across every territory. Our direct-to-consumer channel through Ripaverse.com is not affected. It remains entirely ours. It's run by us.
So if you want to listen to the rest of his announcement, you should. It's really good, but very, very happy for Eric. I, already knew about this was coming, so because I talked to him about it. I'm so happy for him. And I just want to say that it's a bad day to be a Ripaverse hater. Holy shit, man. It's a bad fucking day to be a Ripaverse hater. You guys were convinced that like everything was failing. Holy shit, man. Amazing. So, yeah, if anything, like that's the best part of this. Like they are just in shambles right now, just punching air. Ripaverse haters just punching air. I was told it was failing. I was told it was over. Probably not the case. Just saying. Either way, congratulations to Eric and everybody at Ripaverse. That is awesome news. Really happy for them, man. Good stuff indeed. Stormbreaker says, Jeremy, why are you making fun of my hood, Orlando, Florida? Hey, no, I'm not. I love Orlando, but there's just so many tourists here, man. It's absolutely crazy. Kingdom Hearts Gamer says, congrats to Ripa. Hell yeah, man. I'm really happy for him. Really happy for him. Let's see here. Okay. Next up, we have... Is this right here? Okay. Something bad is going to happen. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Crowder? Let's see what Crowder's talking about here.
Jewish neighborhood as really quickly, and this just as we're about to go live, we don't have a lot of information. An attacker stabbed 2 people in London, specifically a Jewish neighborhood. As the information comes in, we'll roll a video here in just a few moments. Looks like he specifically targeted Jewish people, chased them down and stabbed them. I always try and, hold a little bit and get information before, or see the whole picture before we deliver information to you. I think there's going to be
I don't know if I can play this video. Is this legit?
A press conference, but this brings me to a point. I sent this and I considered actually sharing these texts with blurring out any personal information. Gerald knows this, and people here know this. Over the last week, I have told people
Careful, violent content. Yeah, if he actually is going to play the content, I probably won't.
I've said, look, I really think something pretty bad is going to happen here soon. And I don't just mean based on vibes. I don't just mean, oh, my gut tells me something. I mean, through the objective, the variables that I could quantify objectively, we're at an unprecedented place.
Don't play it. Okay. Well, I'm going to listen to him, but I'll pause it or skip over it, the video if he does play it.
And I want to give you some specific examples, and it's very disturbing. Look, we know that the left, right? We've talked about this, and they've doubled down. The rhetoric from the left, Nazi, fascist, rapist, pedophile protectors, you see that, right? Genocidal maniac, whatever it is that they use. There's a straight line between that and the assassination on Charlie Kirk, the attempts on President Trump. It's pretty easy to see because, hey, they believe that. The left is detached from reality. They believe, many of them, not all of them, not all, that you're a Nazi. They believe that you're a fascist. They believe that you would commit genocide against trans people. Many people believe that about Charlie Kirk. Well, put yourself in a world where you 100% know beyond any shadow of a doubt that your neighbor is a Nazi who is killing trans people. You'd probably stop them too. That's where these people are.
And that was kind of what Erica Kirk was talking about earlier. Like, when you paint this picture of people like this, and I see it all day long. And again, I'm a nobody on the fucking internet, but everything is relative. So when people are calling me names and wanting things done to me, it may not be on the level of someone like Crowder or someone on Erica Kirk's level, but it doesn't really matter. It's all relative to you. It doesn't feel good to have things said about you, whether it's a couple of people, whether it's 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people. It doesn't matter. It still doesn't, it's not great to have threats against you, okay, for whatever reason. And like for me, I am of the belief that no matter how much I disagree with someone, I believe that everybody should have a voice and everybody should have an opportunity to share their voice. The people that hate me, the people that hate you, the people that hate Crowder do not have that same belief system at all. And this is where that view of freedom does hurt us, because while we believe everybody should have a voice, the people that hate us do not believe that. They don't, not only do they believe we shouldn't have a voice, they don't believe we should be alive. They don't believe we should have anything. And this is the problem with that view of freedom and freedom of speech and how you believe everybody should have it, while you're facing someone and dealing with someone that believes that you shouldn't even be breathing. And they continue every single day to build that up in their mind. So when something does happen to someone like Charlie Kirk, they've already made a determination. Charlie Kirk was evil. So who cares what happened to him? That's in their mind, because they are so brainwashed.
So we know that. But that brings me to the Marxist right. This is why I say something bad is going to happen. I have never seen this in my lifetime. Look, wherever you line up on Erica Kirk, the optics or decisions made as far as the organization TPUSA, that's beside the point. The gleeful celebration and mocking the pain of a widow, and I don't use the term trauma the way that other people use it. It's traumatic. I had a bad boyfriend. No.
Yeah, and from the more I've heard Crowder talk about this, the more it seems like he and I are on the same page on this. Doesn't sound like Crowder's a TPUSA person. Doesn't sound like he knows Erica, has any, connection to her. But you're just looking at it from a human standpoint, and you're like, she's done nothing, and they despise her like she's the most evil human being on the planet. She's done nothing. Okay, you don't like her. I don't really like her either. But it doesn't mean that you should be cheering and accusing her of the most horrible things in the world with literally no evidence at all to support them.
Probably had to watch her husband be murdered hundreds of times and answer questions and identify the body. And I would imagine doesn't know which way is up emotionally, and probably won't for a while now. People going out of their way to attack, mock, and specifically the pain of the widow used as a tool. I don't mean like O.J. Simpson jokes about it because everyone kind of knew that he did it and it's a joke on a late night show. I mean, if you go on social media, oh, is your husband dead? Cry about it, husband killer, and to the tune of hundreds of thousands of posts and millions of views.
To be fair, O.J. did write a book, like If I Did It. So, yeah, but I get his point. But OJ did, write a book. If I Did It.
And likes and retweets. It's a level of evil and demonic, I don't know how else to describe it, that is actually detached from reality. Because people will then respond, well, you know what, that husband offer. Someone said this when I responded, that husband offer deserves it. Are you sure about that? That's how people justify the kind of behavior we're seeing. Yeah, that person who killed her, she deserves it. You better have some really, really solid evidence to go after a widow and mock the pain of losing a husband publicly, repeatedly, if you're going to do that. And I haven't seen any evidence of it. But people
There
live
is
in
none.
a world.
There's no evidence that Erica Kirk had anything to do with this. There's literally none. There's only Candace Owens saying that she has evidence and she's going to present it at some point. That's it. And it's enough for the anti-Israel crowd because all they need is for someone to tell them that Israel was behind it. And they're like, hell yeah, they were. Hell yeah, they were. And you're like, yeah, but there's no evidence. Doesn't matter. They were.
These same people believe you guys need to be aware of this. When we talk about the fracturing of the right, I'm not talking about policy disagreements on marginal tax codes or even the level of foreign intervention. I'm talking about there is a contingency of people who believe, who claim to be on the right, that we have an administration that is protecting, abetting, supporting pedophiles, and actively sacrificed Charlie Kirk with a complicit TPUSA and Erica Kirk. They believe that 100%. And if you say, hold on a second, maybe that's not correct, let's walk through the evidence. They believe 100% that you are paid for, usually by Israel, to say that. So let me ask you this. When I say something,
I am. I haven't received my check yet, but I was told that I will. So Israel's great. Netanyahu is great. Ben Shapiro is great. It's awesome. I can't think of anything else sarcastic to say.
bad is going to happen. What would you do if you genuinely 100% believed that a man was assassinated by his wife, organization, or the administration, or a foreign government, and that all of the people telling you otherwise want to send your children to die, want to shed your children's blood for Israel? There are many, many thousands of people who believe that. Just like the left believes that you're a Nazi and a fascist.
He's right.
And a rape supporter. I have never seen this. And I can tell you that I have sat across from enough people. You know, I do have that luxury, a privilege of having done Change My Mind and having done cable news for a long time. I've sat.
It's interesting because Crowder actually does represent like the old guard of actual like conservative people in independent media. And you obviously have the new guard that is more focused on leaning into the anti-Israel stuff because it gets a ton of clicks and a ton of traction on social media. But he's one of the old guard people, and he's still operating with common sense.
Across from enough people where I've seen people who maybe haven't thought of this, and I'm maybe informing them or enlightening them with some new information, and we can have a conversation. And I also am able to identify the difference between them and people who hate me, but kind of want to get one over on me, make a point that maybe I haven't thought of, score some points, but still kind of accept those terms. And I've also sat across from people who have either told me, or I'm very intensely aware, not only wouldn't care if I lived or died, but would gladly pull the trigger if they can get away from it. And I see that same mindset. I see that same behavior posture way more than I'm comfortable with. And no, this is not me saying that people need to be silenced and you can't express opinions. I am just saying that once upon a time, mocking specifically the pain of a widow who just lost her husband was something that would be considered impermissible within the bounds of decency and required a serious amount of proof to justify.
Yeah, I mean, I do get that. Listen, I think people have every right to question, you know, Erica Kirk's ability to lead Turning Point USA. Because I think that there's enough evidence to make you question why her ability as a woman who is constantly emotional in front of the camera should be leading a major organization that was very, very effective in getting Donald Trump a ton of youth votes. I think there's very valid questions to be asked there. I think that taking it to the level of she had something to do with it, I think that is crazy and insane talk. But I also look back on, and I've told this story before. I think I talked about this shortly after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and how it's a very slippery slope of you don't want to question the widow of the great person that was taken from us. You don't want to do that. But I'm a NASCAR fan. And you're probably like, what the hell's that got to do with anything, Jeremy? Because when Dale Earnhardt died at Daytona in 2001, everybody rallied around Teresa Earnhardt. Everyone rallied around his wife. Everyone said she's going to take Dale Earnhardt Incorporated to the promised land. She is going. This is Dale's wife. He picked her. He picked her. She was running his business already. And the long or the short version of a long story is that she destroyed every single bit of the man's legacy. Not what he accomplished, but what his legacy could have become with his company, including keeping Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kelly Earnhardt, his son and daughter, keeping them away from the company, not giving them any access to the company that their dad built. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. was the biggest star in the history of NASCAR when she pushed him out of the company. So all I'm saying is, and that's just one incident. There's plenty other examples to where you can question the motivations and the decision-making and all of that. I think that's valid and understandable. And she has an ability to either prove that she is, equipped for that job, or she's going to prove that everybody that doubts her is correct. Taking it to the level of her being involved with his assassination, I think that's fucking insane. I think that's completely over the line and completely just unbelievable and evil in a lot of ways, with no evidence to support that.
That doesn't seem to be a part of the equation with a certain contingency right now. And so you can mark this, unless something changes, something bad is going to happen. And I've been saying that this last week, and I pray to God that I'm wrong. I genuinely do. I'm just sounding the alarm because I have a platform, and hopefully some of you guys will listen. Hopefully you can talk with these people who are in your life and maybe talk them away from the ledge a little bit, try and reason. But I think that you may not be acting in some of these cases. People who believe all of that wholesale, not people who have questions, not people who have opinions, people who believe wholesale that Group A, usually Erica Kirk, TPUSA, the Trump administration, have sacrificed, murdered Charlie Kirk, and anyone who tries to tell you that that may not be the case and wait for evidence is, in fact, a psyop who wants your children to die for Israel. People who believe that and can be told nothing to the contrary, be very careful. Be very careful, because that can be a dangerous person. And we see it to whatever degree right now. We have this video. I don't know if we're allowed to run this on YouTube. This is breaking as we go live. Jewish neighborhood, I guess it's Golders Green in London. The images you're about to see are disturbing. I have no information on the attack.
We're not going to play this. So I'll leave it at that right there, because I don't want to. Well, let me go back to this. Does he talk anymore so I can skip past it? Okay, so let me get to the end of it. Okay, so we skipped past it.
Something bad is going to happen. Something bad has happened. I think more will happen. And to be clear, this is the attack that I thought you were pro free speech. I am. The solution to bad speech is more speech. Absolutely. When there is some argument to be had in good faith, you cannot respond to bad speech or inaccurate speech with better or accurate speech if you know the inevitable comeback is, you're paid to say that. Every single one of you who has an opinion, regardless as to the degree of informedness, must be a paid psyop, and everyone else, don't believe any word they say for a second. Well, guess what? That's poisoning the well, and good speech can no longer be an antidote to bad speech. So I'm not saying that no one should be able to speak, everyone should, but really be aware and mark the people who use that tactic. Anyone who says, folks who disagree with me are paid by X, or they are only saying it because of Y, that's a dangerous person. That's not a person who wants to have a conversation in good faith, and it's probably not one you should trust as a source of information.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, like, I only, I respond with saying that people that claim that others are being paid by Israel, I believe that those people are probably being paid by someone to say that. And of course, not literally everyone, but then you have all of the mindless drones that listen to the Tucker Carlsons and the Candace Owens and the Ian Carrolls, and then they repeat those talking points. They repeat those talking points because they're very weak-minded people, and they will listen to anything because at the source of it, like, where is this messaging coming from? Where is this messaging actually, like, based on what? Where's the actual evidence? And then people will bring up some obscure shit on the internet, and it's like, dude, I'm talking about real stuff, not your make-believe bullshit. These people are fucking out of their minds. You know what I mean? But this is the people they want to, target, the easily manipulated. So, German Cyborg says, released my second song on my music YouTube channel. Hail Jeremy the Cyborg. Let me see. Packy Proton says, don't say hatchet too fast. Might sound otherwise. Taker says, Jeremy, see if you find the trailer for Fallen. It's the new British TV show where the middle-aged nun falls in love with Papa Assedio. Oh, the Black Snape guy. The only Fallen I know is the Denzel Washington movie with John Goodman. And if you have not seen Fallen with Denzel Washington, you're welcome, because it is fantastic. It is a fantastic movie, and you will thank me after you watch it. Packy Proton says, Orlando is the seaside heights of Florida. The Artful Bird, what's up? Good to see you. Becomes a new member. Thank you. Stormberger says, in Savannah, how many days will you guys be there? It'll just be that Saturday. Little Jim Sailor says, Mossad payments bounced beats is a 2. They keep bouncing, and I don't know what's going on with that. Beastie Man says, leading a company is a man's job. Enough said. Stream Hero says, Candace Owens is a modern day Charles Manson. The internet is a wild place, and it's a lot of fun. But some people take things way too seriously. It's actually fuck, that's right. Friday. My bad. I'm retarded. It's Friday, not Saturday. I'm retarded. So Savannah is on Friday. Thank you for the correction, Jessica. Don't listen to anything I say. I'm just stupid, okay? But we did have this iconic picture right here of the King and Charles. Look at that. Charles hanging out with the king. Beautiful sight. And there's only one king in this picture, and it ain't Charles. Now, you guys, I'm showing you the photo op, or the photoshopped version. All right. Now I will show you the actual version. This is the real picture right here. Okay. So there is the real picture. President Trump with McDonald's with chicken nuggets, got some Big Macs, some double cheeseburgers. That's the real picture right there. So that's pretty cool. And oh man. Now we saw this video of that was going around. Shoe on Head apparently called out Hasan. I got to find this clip, though. Let me see here. So Shoe on Head has called out Hasan, apparently. I got to try to find this clip. I did have it bookmarked. And apparently Hasan got really angry about this and really upset. Seeing if I can find it. Is this it right here? Okay, Shoe on Head brought up Hasan and his pragmatic take in a recent video. So let's hear what Shoe on Head has to say.
You mean the human desire to procreate and start a family? Oh, you want to meet a woman and settle down and have a family? Maybe have a house, 2 dogs? You sick fuck. We've reached radioactive levels of incel propaganda. What the fuck does incel mean anymore? I feel like I ask this in every single video. This tweet got thousands of likes. I feel like I am going insane. Where does the incel part come from? Like, they want men to be open about their emotions, and then men are...
The term incel means absolutely nothing anymore. It means nothing. It's just like racist and sexist and Nazi. It means absolutely nothing.
Open about their emotions, and then they're just called Nazis or incels or both. Usually both. It's usually a package deal. And this tweet came from a man, to make things worse. A grown-ass man saw another grown-ass man speaking about the normal human desire to want a family and want children one day, and called him an incel. Cockroach behavior.
In any case, what is this? Capcom's Pragmata. Wait, did it come out already? Pragmata, it's making thousands of people suddenly want to start a family. You place Hugh as soldier, stranded on a ruined lunar research station. His job is protecting the childlike android Diana while fighting rogue AI. In one emotional moment, she gives him a crayon drawing of the two of them together as a little family. Even streamers who say at the start they didn't want kids end up breaking down happy in tears. So what's really interesting about this is all of these unfuckable losers in the gaming sphere always talk about like starting families and stuff. And I don't understand like why this has become...
God, man, I can't believe people listen to this motherfucker. Like, me and Rip have talked about this before. Me and Rippa were talking about it. It's like, listen, I can understand there's a lot of people that get a lot of attention. They have a lot of viewership. I don't understand why anyone watches Hasan. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
A thing that they care about. Like, if you're a gamer, you should care about things that you actually experience. You should care about things that you actually enjoy, right? If you're a lonely gamer who has never been around a woman and will never have sex with a woman, why do you care? Like, why do you care about having children or like riding for having children? Like, it's just not something that you're going to experience ever for your life, for the rest of your life, right? This is something that I never understand.
Wow, maybe there's a reason people are yearning to start a family and can't afford to have one and can't seem to find a partner. They feel alienated from their work and atomized from their community. If only there was a political commentator around to speak about all this. Oh well, guess not. First of all, the only care about something if it affects you is extremely libertarian coded and also very weird coming from a guy who understandably wants everybody to care about a genocide that is happening across the ocean.
Now that's good right there. That is a great point. All right, she just destroyed him right there.
Political commentator around to speak about all this. Oh well, guess not. First of all, the only care about something if it affects you is extremely libertarian coded and also very weird coming from a guy who understandably wants everybody to care about a genocide that is happening across the ocean. Second of all, what is this nihilistic horseshit? You never aspire for anything, never aim for greatness and meaning. This is the dude the media wants us to believe is going to save young men from the alt-right pipeline. Yeah, okay. And I love how he's like, unfuckable losers. Like, okay, congrats on the sex, bro. Check out this sex haver over here. I'm sure all those unfuckable losers could eat.
Sex haver.
Check out this sex haver over here. I'm sure all those unfuckable losers could easily go to foreign brothels and pay for sex like you, Hasan. Ooh. Something weird about a man who could easily consensually get sex from a woman but chooses to go to a brothel. I don't know. Just saying. Also, 35? No kids?
Oh.
Like, I'm sorry. That just pisses me off. Like, sitting in his ugly ass $600 Gucci sweater. I swear I've never seen this guy in a fucking normal ass t-shirt. Sitting on his high horse, looking down at people for wanting something more out of life. I don't understand how someone could be so mentally mind raped that this is their reaction to such like a simple, wholesome concept. Like, literally, no joke, the entire meaning of life is somehow confusing to Hasan Piker.
She cooked him pretty damn good, too. Now, apparently, he has responded to this and I have not heard his response, but here we go right here. Hasan on Shoe on Head, including him in her latest video. Here we go.
Bro, you were on the last Shoe on Head video. I will literally shoot myself with a gun if you bring that shit up in here, okay? Why? What do you want me to do? Do you want me to go out, purchase a shotgun, shoot myself in the face, not die in the process, but at least lose significant chunks of my fucking brain so I...
He is mad. Oh my goodness. I didn't realize how mad he was. Holy crap.
Can operate at the same substandard, suboptimal IQ level that Shoe on Head and her dumb fuck audience operates in, so I can do a regular response to that? Is
so Hasan, you seem very upset that a woman has an opinion. Do you not like when women have opinions? Do you not like that? Does that bother you when women have? Do you want to silence women? Do you not want women to speak? Would you like us to just go back to the old days where women don't talk? All you got to do is say the word. A lot of people will agree with you, brother.
Is that what you want me to do? Do you want me to lose chunks of my brain? Do you want me to John Fetterman myself so I can understand the compelling argument that Shoe on Head makes? One that should have been left in the dustbin of history all the way back in 2016. Ooh, look at me. I'm an emo girl and I change my politics all the fucking time. Ooh.
Dude, he is so, this is like next level. This is, and really what it comes down to is when Asmongold says something about Hasan, obviously Hasan is obsessed with Asmon and all that, but he can dismiss Asmon as Asmongold, you know, he doesn't bathe, whatever. Now you have an attractive woman calling you out, attractive one with a big following. That's a big problem for Hasan, because this is what happens when you play in the world of identity politics. You're not allowed, like the most dangerous person to them is a non-white dude calling them out. It bothers them big time. So they have to work overtime to discredit that individual.
Ooh, look at me as an emo girl. I look like that one meme on the internet. Okay. 4chan guys who are now 38 years old want to fap to me. Fuck. Why would you openly admit that you listen to Shoe on Head in 2026, man? What the fuck is wrong with you? People like Shoe on Head are basically a humanoid version of a fucking Reddit aggregator. They just spit out shit that they see on subreddits. So why the fuck are you going there?
This is making it so much worse. Like when you don't really want to address it, it really just is like, hey, did you see the latest Shoe on Head video? Nah, I didn't really get to check it out. I don't really pay attention. But we do have this going on right over here. That's it, man. Like, this is...
Might as well just go to the subreddit directly and read all the commentary that they turn into video essays. Jesus Christ. What an unbearable fucking way to exist, dude. Oh, I'm getting all my politics from Shoe on Head. Honestly, good luck, dude. People should be more embarrassed, okay? What happened to shame? What happened to shame? If you're getting your politics from a person like Shoe on Head, you should be embarrassed. Go spend some time in the real world. Try to explain to people that this is the person that's educating you on your worldview. God, it's like saying, oh, I get my politics from fucking Patrick Bet-David. Oh my God, the things I want to say to people like this.
Well, that was glorious. I was not expecting it. That he's really upset about this. And that makes me very, very happy. Holy hell. Marmillan for 10 on Rumble says he can't blame Israel or make fun of a woman, so he has to go out of his way to not offend. Hail Marmillan. Thank you for the support on Rumble. I appreciate it. Ministry of Wrong Thing says, question for the anti-Israel folks. If we went to war for Israel, how do you also square that with Jews control the media when 90% of the media's Iran war coverage is pro-Iran? Just asking questions. Let me ask that one more time. It's Ministry of Wrong Thing. Question for the anti-Israel folks. if, quote unquote, we went to war for Israel, how do you also square that with Jews control the media when 90% of the media's Iran war coverage is pro-Iran? Just asking questions. Can you explain that anti-Israel crowd? Or does that make a little too much sense? Maybe asking questions isn't your favorite thing. Maybe the noticing isn't that interesting anymore. When you start noticing, you're like, hey, I'm noticing that your entire argument is flawed. That's pretty funny. Thank you, Ministry of Wrong Think. The Ministry of Wrong Think says the legality of Comey's post isn't being determined based on who was offended or not. Mod Eric says, yes, the guy on the ground still has a knife in his hands. The lefties are saying the police should not have taken the knife. He stabbed 2 Jewish people. I guess they should have let him up. Yeah, I'll watch that video a little bit later. I haven't seen it, though. So Neuromoto Protocol says, Hasan be mad tax, so give money to Jeremy. Hey, I like this policy. Whenever Hasan is mad, you give me money. I like that. I like that. Legalize adulthood says YouTube makes it impossible to say anything fun. LFG 199. Legalize adulthood. Hail to you. You can say it on Rumble, though, with the Rumble rants. You can. Stream Heroes says Candace Owens says, oh, got that one. Mod Eric says shoe on head is as dumb a name as X-Wing 5. Jeffrey says Chunk Uger's nephew is thin-skinned. Kevin Spears says, anybody have Hasan's address? Ask for a friend. No, don't be doxing anybody. Don't do that. Jim P says, shoe on head, Zoomer smashed evil guy. And Hayden Wayne, hail to you, brother. Good to see you here. Says he gave it away. He expects his audience to take their political opinions from him. He truly views himself as somebody educating the unwashed masses. Anyway, imagine telling people you get your political opinions from Hasan Piker and not being laughed at. Exactly. That is a true sign of insecurity. Like, I don't care who anybody watches. I can question why you watch them, but I'm not offended that anybody watches anyone else. Hasan is very upset that anyone would watch any other political commentator, left or right, except for him, because he believes he is the one true person in politics that can only give you the truth, because he's intimidated by anyone else's opinions other than his own. And that bothers him. And that's a clear sign of a very insecure person. You hear me all the time talk about all these people that I watch all the time and enjoy watching their channels. It doesn't matter to me if they get more views or less views or whatever. I just enjoy their content. And I think other people should check them out and support them if they are interested in that. Hasan is a very insecure little man who does not like anyone else to be have views but him. And that bothers him big time. And the one person that dominates his mind more than any other is Asmongold. Asmongold is very much in his head all the time. It drives him crazy, which is hilarious. Let me see. Okay, so don't forget, we do have the we do have the RSVP that is for the Savannah meetup. So please make sure, if you are interested, you RSVP for that. Also, what is this right here? Todd Blanche goes off on Democrats whining that James Comey had a First Amendment right to threaten President Trump's life. Let's hear what Todd Blanche
Anybody in this country thinks, especially what happened over the past couple of years with respect to President Trump, that it is okay for anybody to threaten the president of the United States, that it is okay to threaten the president of the United States and then have the media or others say, well, that's not serious, then we have a bigger problem than I even imagined in this country. Of course it's serious when you threaten the president of the United States, and anybody that tries to put forward some narrative that this is just about seashells or something to the contrary is missing the point. You cannot threaten the president of the United States. That's not my decision. That's Congress's decision in a law that they passed. And so, yes, of course this is a serious case.
He's crushing it right now. And then Michael Knowles had this to say about the James Comey indictment.
One person, I'm very sorry, is not here tonight. James Comey. I'm really sorry. I don't know if you caught the news.
I know the audio's a little low.
James Comey, former FBI director, is now under indictment for threatening the President of the United States. I call that a very good start. I want Hasan Piker arrested. I want all of the elected officials, the Democrats, the media figures who have called for violence against conservatives, I want them to be prosecuted. I want them to know that will not stand in America. We've got a great start with this administration, and we need a lot more of it.
Called out Hasan. That's funny as hell, man. So the 1A train says, I hate Hasan. Here's some cash, dude. This is a good grift right here. I like it. All right. So if you can't stand Hasan Piker, give a thumbs up to the video and send super chats. That's a good grift right there. I like it. I like where this is going. Teresa says, I watched an IQ of world leaders video last night. Trump 156, Netanyahu 55. Who rules whom? Trump has an IQ of 199. So that video was actually incorrect. Trump's IQ is 199. I have that on good authority. Trump IQ 199. Damn. There it is. Thank you, Teresa. Piano Dean says, I got to meet the great Andrew Wilson at his wife's debate last night. It was an intellectual evisceration. You got to watch it, Jeremy. I will check it out. I will check it out. Raymond Daniels says, this is America where a lying, cheating degenerate can prosper. This is the Young Turks, Hasan, Kyle Kuklinski, and other lefties. The Young Turks is so bad. 199 on the dot. That's right. That's our president. I hate Hasan Tax, says A-Rod. You love to see it. Don't forget, though, listen, I think we get lost in thinking that Hasan might be the dumbest person in front of a camera. He's definitely in contention, but Joy Reid still exists. And Joy Reid says the attack at Butler and the White House Correspondents' Dinner might have been staged with Russia's assistance. That's right. Russia is back.
Don't ask any questions, even though they're just odd things that keep happening around Trump. And we know that Viktor Orban allegedly, according to Washington Post reporting, there was a plot by the Russians to stage an assassination, fake assassination for Orban. So all of this throws them together. You're like, when something seems too perfect, people, they don't believe in it. And Donald Trump now again gets victimized by an alleged would-be assassin in front of the perfect witnesses, the press.
My goodness, man. How can you be that retarded? It's really impressive how dumb she is. I got to give her credit for that. We also got this news. Just in, 2 leftists federally indicted in connection with the violent assault in Minnesota on Turning Point USA journalist Savannah Hernandez. That is Fox reporting this. So here we go right here. If you remember this, they are federally indicted. Dude, this is true hatred, what they have towards her. It's absolutely crazy.
My daughter? No! Stop touching me! You fucking touching me! Jesus Christ! Leave me! I'm trying to leave!
They need to be gone for a long time, dude.
Just go, though. Look, we're trying to help you. Let's get you out of here. Trying to leave. Let's go. Let's get you out of here. Let's go. Where are you going? Where do you need to go? I don't have a car Where do you want me to go? Jared, can we get her somewhere?
We're trying to help you, though. Like, we helped you.
No, you didn't.
Yes, we did. We stopped people from hitting you because you were
I
saying.
was standing here for an hour.
If we didn't help you, you would have been attacked.
I started attacking me.
We told them to stop.
I didn't do anything.
But you're like trying to play victim so hard when.
So I have all this on camera. It's fine. And because we're Minneapolis, you can't press charges against any of these people either. Anyway, so yeah, there we go. There we go, guys. There we go. Minneapolis, incredible. What am I gonna do?
Crazy stuff, man. So we'll see how that progresses, but that's obviously good news. So we'll see how that goes. I will say that I'm really, really happy that Megyn Kelly is so concerned about the president of the United States' safety. So happy. Megyn Kelly's very concerned about President Trump's safety, everyone. I'm sure this is very genuine right here.
The level of catastrophe this could have been is rattling. It really is rattling.
Yeah, so rattling.
The president
yeah, we know
is
you're
not
upset.
as safe as we need him to be.
Yeah.
And
you mean the same president that's controlled by Israel, right? The same president that gotten us into war and has gotten all of our soldiers injured and killed. That president that you have claimed has done all of those things.
the question really is, why not? According to the Washington Post, the Trump administration did provide a level of security at this event that was lower than other gatherings with high-ranking officials. Like, they did not unleash the same amount of security that they would had this been an inauguration or a State of the Union. Why not? Trump, Vance, Rubio, Hegseth, all the top dignitaries, all the people who run this country were there, other than like have some House members and some senators, but they're more plentiful. There's only one Secretary of War. That was typical of a White House Correspondents' Dinner. Okay, so they don't normally treat those like they're a State of the Union or an inauguration. But in this new threat environment, where the president's been targeted 3 times?
I'm so happy that Megyn Kelly is concerned. This makes me so happy. The person that has accused him of turning his back on the country, the person that has been screeching and crying and whining that he is controlled by a foreign government, is now concerned for his safety.
Already? Where we had Charlie Kirk shot and killed 9 months ago, where Luigi Mangioni's about to go on trial for murdering the CEO of United Healthcare and an act of political violence of a different sort. Like, what the environment right now, it feels closer to 1968 than 2028 at the.
Well, the good news is there is one man that can turn the temperature down, apparently. According to Chuck Todd, guess who that person is? Chuck Todd slams Trump as the only one who can turn down the temperature. Oh, so it's all Trump's fault, everybody. It's all Trump's fault.
Because there was a time in this country, not that long ago, when something like this would happen, a president in particular would treat it very differently. There would have been an attempt, at least an attempt, to steady the country, to lower the temperature. Like what
you mean kind of how what Barack Hussein Obama did when all those situations happened with police-involved shootings of black people? And instead of letting the facts come out, Barack Hussein Obama would get up there and talk about racism, and he would demonize the police officers before he had any facts at all. So he was setting the anti-police narrative and building the racism narrative before we had any information. Remember, hands up, don't shoot, all that nonsense that was created by Barack Hussein Obama.
George W. Bush did after 9/11.
Oh, George W. Bush. Yeah, that guy did a real good job of keeping our country unified, didn't he? That guy did a great job. The most unified we have ever been in our lifetime, only for it to all end with Barack Hussein Obama being elected because so many people were so disgusted by George W. Bush.
9/11, making it crystal clear that the United States was not at war with Islam. Right? There was an important, he had to say it. And it took an American president to say it. There was nobody else that could say it that would have any sort of meaning beyond the president of the United States in that moment. Presidents are in charge of the thermostat of the political temperature of the country, period. And he chose to turn down the thermostat.
Yeah, George W. Bush really, really was really good at being sensitive to everything. Like this shot right here.
We must stop the terror. I call upon all nations to do everything they can to stop these terrorist killers. Thank you. Now watch this drive.
I mean, I do kind of like that, but the point of like trying to say George W. Bush was this guy that calmed anything down. Get the fuck out of here, Chuck Todd.
Saw what was building.
His name is Chuck Todd anyway. What the fuck's wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you with this stupid fucking 2 first names bullshit, you loser?
Feared what was building, and he turned down that thermostat. But we haven't really had that moment, right? They haven't had the moment where this president has said, this isn't who we are. This is not acceptable. Maybe it's time to take a breath here. I know we've all allowed political rhetoric to get out of hand, right? And yet that's not the instinct right now, is it? And that's the problem.
This guy's been crying about Trump since 2015, okay? It's absolutely insane. Like, what a loser this guy is. Beta, pathetic loser who has spent the last decade plus crying about Donald Trump. Also, I got to give credit to Timcast because apparently he called out Riley Gaines. I'm not a fan of Riley Gaines at all. I think Riley Gaines is a fraud, but apparently she put out a paid promotion over this new movie, and she essentially, it looks like she lied about it. So let's listen to Tim Cast really quick.
So Riley Gaines posted this. My husband and I got early access screening to Animal Farm, an animated adaptation of George Orwell's novel made by Angel Studios. Incredibly well done. They do a perfect job of reminding viewers that Marxism always has and always will fail. In theaters May 1st, hashtag Animal Farm Partner. There is not a single criticism of Marxism in the whole film. I'll give you the quick elevator pitch to what the story's about. A group of happy animals.
Hashtag Animal Farm Partner. Hashtag Animal Farm Partner giving that. Like, come on, man. What the hell are we doing?
There is not a single criticism of Marxism in the whole film. I'll give you the quick elevator pitch to what the story's about. A group of happy animals live on a farm. The farmer can't pay his mortgage, so an evil capitalist buys the debt out from the bank and then seeks to have the animals slaughtered. The animals, to avoid dying, revolt. But the bank says someone's got to pay the mortgage. The animals team up and all work together to sell horse rides, and the chickens sell their eggs. And the pigs go and pay off the bank. The bank says, I only need a little bit of this. You can keep the rest. Instead of giving the money to the rest of the animals to buy things the farm needs, the pigs go to the mall and buy things for themselves. The animals get angry that the pigs are taking all the profit for themselves, despite the fact they do the labor. Napoleon the pig gets in credit card debt he can't pay off. So he cuts a deal with Elon Musk's mom to sell the farm and the animals off, private equity deal that will basically start extracting all the assets. He will get what they call magic paper to pay off his credit card debt. She builds a hydroelectric dam. At this point in the third act,
and Tim is even calling her out on her post right here. Honest question, Riley, no disrespect, but did you copy and paste this from a sponsor script? Damn.
The animals finally decide to revolt against this capitalist system. They then plant explosives in the hydroelectric dam, blowing it up, killing all of Elon Musk's mom's employees, as well as Elon Musk's mom. The movie literally ends at this point with Napoleon being crushed under the grain silo and killed, and Lucky, the new character, crawling out and saying something to the effect of, you will own nothing and you'll be happy. There is not a single instance of Marxism as a topic. There is not a single conversation about the oppressed versus the oppressor. There is not a single instance of government intervention.
They all copied and pasted that review. Very interesting about that. I don't know anybody from Angel Studios. Let's see, hang on. Okay. But no, like, I don't know anyone from Angel Studios. They've done some good stuff for sure. But this is how you lose credibility right here. This is an easy way to lose credibility.
In any capacity or governance. The entirety of the film is a critique on modern capitalist structures. In fact, Andy Serkis talked about this in an interview. And Andy Serkis made major changes, blah, blah, blah. Let me just jump. They're like, here you go. Serkis approached the adaptation. He didn't want it to be a story about Stalinist Russia. Instead, he gravitated toward themes of capitalism, wealth, and overconsumption. The billionaire antagonist, Pilkington, drives what closely resembles a Cybertruck. So here's the point I'm going to make. When they sent me a sponsorship request, one of the things they asked that I do was rescind my previous commentary on their film and say that, boy, was I a squealer.
What? Really?
So here's the point I'm going to make. When they sent me a sponsorship request, one of the things they asked that I do was rescind my previous commentary on their film and say that, boy, was I a squealer. The film's actually great. You should watch it. And I watched this, and that actually offended me.
Oh, no. Oh, no. That's bad.
You should watch it. And I watched this, and that actually offended me that they would try to pay me to change my opinion. Well, I was asked, Tim, why would you put out a statement like this? It's the stupidest thing you can do as a company that sells sponsorships, because now future sponsors are going to be like, what, run the risk of Tim Pool publicly blasting me if I offer him money? Indeed. And my response was, I guarantee you right-wing personalities are going to start putting out generic statements in exchange for cash that this pro-communist, anti-capitalist movie is in fact worth watching. And with all due respect to Riley Gaines, because I like her, I would assume that this post she made was copy and pasted from a script and she never actually watched the film. But she probably got paid. That's why it says Animal Farm Partner. So I will call out any...
Animal Farm Partner is crazy, dude. Crazy.
And everyone who doesn't watch this. Now, that being said, don't take it from me. Watch the film yourself if you want to. There are a lot of people that I see are just agreeing with my assessment, and that's fair because I'm telling you what I see is, like, guys, in the trailer, you literally see Slaughterhouse by Pilkington. That's not a component of the book. They're laughing, saying we're going on vacation. The animals in the beginning are happy. In Animal Farm, the animals are pissed off. The farm is mismanaged, so they revolt against bad leadership. In the book, the chickens have their eggs taken from them by the pigs and sold off. And when the chickens complain, they're executed and killed by the dogs. That was a commentary on government seizing what belongs to you. In the movie, the chickens gleefully sell their eggs along with the pigs. But
propaganda everywhere. Propaganda everywhere, even from Angel Studios.
But when the pigs sell that and take the money, they keep the excess for themselves, and the animals get pissed off that the profit is taken away. A critique of capitalism. So if you want to bring your kids to see a movie that critiques modern capitalist structures, that was always allowed, but that is not what Animal Farm was ever about. So I take issue with conservatives promoting this because they're liars. I'm sorry. There is no way Riley Gaines actually watched this film.
Well, so Riley Gaines was a DeSantis supporter. Riley Gaines has no allegiance to President Trump at all, even though she pretends she does. And by the way, it doesn't matter if she doesn't have allegiance. I don't care that she doesn't have allegiance to Trump. Like, you can support whoever you want, but she absolutely leaned into MAGA and pretended to be a MAGA supporter when it fit her. And she gained a massive fucking following off of MAGA and wearing that red hat and going to the fucking parties and all of that other bullshit. She is a fucking fraud. Okay. Also, I remember she was part of the whole release the Epstein bullshit. And then she tweeted out that President Trump campaigned, one of his campaign promises was the Epstein files. No, the fuck it wasn't. It literally was not part of any of his campaign promises listed on his website or part of his, speeches or anything. When he was asked about that shit, he would answer it, but it was never part of his campaign. She's a fucking liar. I don't like her. I think she's a fraud. I think she has done everything she can to benefit from MAGA while being a phony who doesn't actually believe in it. And she was the first to jump ship when it was the DeSantis train. That's who she is. Don't like her. That's why I wanted to address this, because I'm glad that other people are finally noticing this fraud for what she is. That's it. Simple as that. So there you go. There you go. Eric got that one. Got that one. Your Barmy says, this is Joy's Eminem look. Oh, Joy Reid looking like Eminem now. Incoherent Name says, don't forget Kimmel also gleefully joked about Tesla being shot up and firebombed. He doesn't get a pass for being a comedian. That's true. Kevin Spears says, stop turning the cheek to these people. Wake up. Skywalker says, Jeremy UV Hasan White House card. I'll pass. I'm too old for that shit. Skywalker says, Jeremy's entrance driving a forklift. Epic. Lampshade on Fire says, hashtag Animal Farm Partner translates to ignore every word preceding this hashtag. Yes. Phil says, 199 partner tax. I like that. Well, whatever says, Crowder also called out Riley Gaines. Did he? Man, I'm just liking Crowder more and more. Well, whatever says, Benny Johnson interviewed the head of Angel Studios a while. The movies that they put out are voted on by a group of people. Interesting. I didn't know that. Minister Frontex says, what the F is Tuck Job suggesting Trump say? Hey, people on the left, please stop trying to kill us. I know, right? All right. So that's going to bring us to the end of the stream, everyone. Thank you all for your support. I greatly appreciate it. We will do another round of CobraCast later tonight, probably around 8 Eastern, I think, is when we'll go live. So we'll be live for that. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for the support. So have a good evening, and I'll see you probably about 4 hours from now, 3.5, 4 hours from now. So have a good evening, and we will talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.